Oi! Today we're going to talk about, are we attracted to things or are we attracted to the idea of those things? So, I know it sounds like a pretty abstract thing to say, but it's actually a pretty fun thing to to reflect upon. So, you know how we sometimes feel confused about our emotions, how we feel towards a certain person, a certain thing, and why do you think that confusion happens? That's because of the law of attraction and how we feel about things in general. So, this can be seen a lot in relationships where people can be attracted to the idea of a person and, they may like what they represent, but sometimes they just don't want to be with them, but they like the idea of that person, but they don't see themselves with them. Or they actually do. So there's a double kind of side to those things. Like you may either want to do this or you may like the idea of doing it, but you're actually scared to actually be in that position. So I would say another great example, like aside from social experiences, obviously, money. Let's say that tomorrow you won $1 million, like in a lottery or something. Now, this could be your whole ass dream. Like you may have always wanted to have $1 million. Like that could be your dream come true. And yeah, like I understand why you'd be happy. But then at the same time, like if you really think about the pros and cons, you may realize that that's just an idea. Like you like the idea of having money and you think that having money is great. But if $1 million just dropped out of nowhere tomorrow, you may feel like freaked out because what do I do with all this? How do I invest it? How am I gonna spend this? What am I gonna spend it on? You may actually feel scared to lose it. So the idea of having the money, sure, seems great, but having it really, is it something that you would like tomorrow to happen, out of nowhere? I mean, think about it yourself. There's a lot of stuff that we need to reconsider before we make a choice. And when going into a relationship or friendship with somebody or interacting with anyone, we should always think of that, we should consider things properly. And yeah, another key thing that I think we should all think of is justification. The justification of our attraction by do we want the idea of fulfilling certain roles or benefits in our lives, or do we just want that in general? Is that what we want to persuade and we want to achieve? Certainty is really important, and why don't you have a fantasy or something? Let's say I'm fantasizing about flying, yeah? I'm talking about general fantasies, okay? Nothing weird, but this applies to anything. A fantasy can be something that 100% you wouldn't like that in real life. But the idea of being able to do that may seem good to you, it may seem fun. So, for example, flying. I would love to grow some wings and fly, but I wouldn't like that to actually happen. I wouldn't like to fly because, for example, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually quite afraid of heights. I've never been into flying. Even in an airplane, I feel quite nervous, really nervous. So I wouldn't like to genuinely fly, but the idea of growing wings and flying around the city, it seems exciting, But yeah, there's two sides to everything, so please make your choices wisely and think about this. Anyways, I hope I made you reflect on some stuff, especially if you're going through a tough time with your partner, or you just don't know what to do with your crush. Do you really want to ask them out, or do you like the idea of them as a person? I guess this could make you reflect. So yeah, hope I helped some of you, and if you got any ideas for a future video of mine, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I make sure to read as many as possible, and I'll see you all later.